The mortal realms have been despoiled. Ravaged by the forces of the dark gods, they stand on the brink of utter destruction. Against such foes, courage is the truest defense and the most effective weapon. But it is not always strong enough to prevail, for this is the season of war. This battle is brought to you by our channel members and FLGS partners, Warpfire Minis and X-Planet.
Hello and welcome to Season of War! Tonight we are excited to bring you another game of Age of Sigmar. I'm Jordan, Ryan is joining me here tonight and bringing out a bit of a different Nurgle build.
Yes, I know you guys all know me as the guy who always brings the powerful meta builds, but I'm trying something else today.
Yes, so a little off meta, very out of the ordinary for you, Ryan. But jumping right into things tonight, the mission we're playing is Geomantic Pulse. This is a bit of a different one in storing. The player who goes second in this battle round actually chooses one of the end objectives to start as the Pulse. And then for scoring, you score 1 point if you hold one objective. If you hold the Pulse, which comes in at one end on round 2, and then it will move every turn down the order. It's 2 points if you hold the Pulse, and then 1 point if you hold an objective on either side of the Pulse. So on certain turns, kind of mid to late game, there's going to be like a lot of scoring potential. So if you're ahead early, or
kill all the pointiers and win.
Yes, exactly. Easy as that. But that's the objective. That's the mission. Sorry. So Ryan, do you want to take us through your, again, very off-meta list?
This is the future of competitive wargaming right here. So as you can see, I have a Nurgle list with all kinds of random jank, but the highlights are these two, we'll call them skull cannon or hell cannons, but they're actually just plague clock catapults. These are the old Slaves to Darkness hell cannons that haven't had rules in probably 10 years, and I've been trying to find a way to use them, and I finally had the revelation that they could ally into Nurgle pretending to be plague clock catapults. So we'll see how that goes. Beyond that, I'm bringing Morbid X Twiceborn for the first time ever. We'll see how he goes. For those that don't know, he's the kind of weaker one of the bunch, but he is absurdly tanky because he heals half his missing wounds at the end of every turn, not just mine. Nice. So he's very tanky. He also heals Nurgling bases, so I have a 6-man unit of Nurglings to go with him just because we're on theme. The other big one is, I'm not taking Great Unclean One. This is Rodigus, and it's a little bit interesting. He has never seen battle probably anywhere before, but for those who don't know, he's a weaker Great Unclean One that has more wounds, but he has an unlimited range spell that can do fair few mortal wounds, so that's kind of what his goal is.
Nice.
We have a unit of Rotmire Creed keeping up with this whole ranged kind of shoot line theme. I have Rotbringer Sorcerer here. He's my general. He knows Master of Magic, and he also knows Glorious Buboes, Magnificent Buboes. And yeah, he's basically here to keep casting stuff. We also have Sloppity Bilepiper here, and he has the Endless Gift artifact, so he can cast the AoE disease point spell, so it gives him more to do. I have 3 units of Beasts of Nurgle, 2 1s and 1 2. I had to do that to get my drops down to 3. And then just rounding it all out, I have a Horrorghast, just to kind of help with all the range and perhaps make some guys run away.
Yes. We might see that today because elves don't have the best bravery.
Yes.
But we're going to hopefully avoid that. And you mentioned being 3 drops, which actually was relevant here because I came in at 4. I had a battle regiment and then actually the wizard fighting battalion, which my 2 packs of sharks are in, and then my tidecaster. So going through the list though, again, I have a tidecaster who's got Hoarfrost. I have my Acalian King with the Smash King loadout this time. So he's gonna be super hitty. And then he has the Arcane Tome still. Can't do Flaming Weapon, but still Mystic Shield, Arcane Bolt. And then I have the 2 units of 2 sharks that I mentioned earlier, and filling out the army with a bunch of Namarti. I've got 2 units of 10 Reavers, one of them is in the boat right now, and then 2 units of 10 Thralls. Also noteworthy, obviously, I am playing in Nautilus, which is the turtle subfaction, and I do have a Leviathan. A lot of the stuff went down in points, namely the sharks and the turtle, so it was actually really interesting compared to when list building 6 months ago, I'm like, I just can't make a list I'm comfortable with, whereas now it feels like I can. So that's great. So I'm super happy with that, and we're gonna see how it, these places play. Obviously, I ran all the eels, in a game a couple weeks ago. So yeah, trying out some of the other pieces in Deepkin. Love this army, and I'm excited to see how this game goes.
Nice.
But Ryan, you outdropped me as we talked about, so you're gonna have choice.
You're going first.
All right. Well, the elves are the best, so we may as well jump into Idoneth Deepkin, turn 1.
Always looking for souls to reap for the sake of their enclave, the Idoneth battle tactic is intimidate the invaders. The Achillean King and Rotbringer Sorcerer both use heroic leadership. The Deepkin prepare the ritual of deep sight, and the cycle of corruption begins on nauseous revulsions. The Achillean King has Mystic Shield unbound, and the Tidecaster fails to cast Hoarfrost. Don't forget, we've still got our campaign going to get our Beasts of Chaos army funded. Toss over a super thanks if you want to chip in. The Reavers use at the double to make it outside of their deployment zone. The Leviathan launches the first volley of harpoons and deals 4 damage to a Beast of Nurgle. The first unit of Alopexes shoots and deals 6 more damage to the beasts. Then the second unit deals another 4. Trying to draw their foe into a trap, the Deepkin complete their battle tactic and score 3 points.
Idoneth Deepkin, turn 1, and it was measured. This objective or mission, again, you don't have to jump on multiple objectives, especially early. We don't have the pulse out. So yeah, it's interesting here. I just touched this objective, obviously pivoted my army a ton to one side. I'm so used to playing Deepkin where I'm 1-drop and generally have choice. Here, getting given it, the risk of the double is big, right? You're gonna run your guy forward, you can put on the double, throw him in. That's nasty. Thought about shooting Sloppity, but you're gonna be able to summon another one if I did.
Yep.
So I went for the beasts, almost took down the unit of 2. So again, a little uncomfortable with the potential double coming my way. I always try to avoid that with Deepkin because they're so glass, but saving grace is if you do come over here, throw them in, whatever you're hitting, the rest of my army I'm then leveraging against whatever you throw in.
Yep.
And I would also get to choose the order of where the pulse comes down, which is big right now when I'm so heavily weighted to one side.
I'm sure you'll choose this.
Yes, that's very likely. But obviously you're gonna have your turn first before we get into priority. Yep. So that's it for Deepkin. We'll jump into Nurgle, turn 1.
Welcoming all with the grandfather's gifts, the Nurgle battle tactic is intimidate the invaders. The Rotbringer Sorcerer and Achillean King both use heroic leadership. The Sloppity Bilepiper has Gift of Disease unbound, and the Rotbringer has Horrorghast unbound. Rotigus casts Deluge of Nurgle and deals 7 mortals, then casts Mystic Shield on himself. Rushing forwards, Morbidex uses at the double. The first Plague Claw Catapult deals no damage to the Alopexes, and the second one misses entirely. Not the best start. The Thralls use Inspiring Presence. Slowly plodding towards their foe, the Maggotkin complete their battle tactic and score 3 points.
All right, so it was an interesting turn. It didn't go quite as planned. I started off with a decent roll on my Gifted Disease, and then Jordan spiked like an 11 or something on the Unbind, unfortunately.
Yes.
It was potentially awesome because his whole army is in a position. I would have hit everything.
With spreading disease and starting to do mortals.
So I was bummed about that. Then went in with a Horrorghast. I rolled kind of low on the start, but then I spiked a nice big 5 on my Primal Magic dice. you threw 2 primal magic dice to unbind it, and you threw double 6, so you stopped it. Again, that was a huge opportunity because I was going to cause a whole bunch of battle shock tests.
And it's noteworthy, you have an interesting combination of things that really compound that, between spreading disease to multiple units, your AoE spell from Rodagist hitting multiple units.
The catapult's debuffing bravery. It's very much leaning into it. So I really wanted that thing. Because
you could trigger some big battle shocks, which thankfully, again, that's why I wanted to get rid of Horrorghast.
Yep. So it is what it is. You know, he spiked high on a couple of unbinds. Rodagist did get his spell off, and he rolled pretty well. He got 3 D3 mortal wounds off, and I rolled 2, 2, and 3. So I mean, he did great. His little wizard buddies less so. Catapults did nothing. You made a save.
And plus the turtle buff kept them at,
I mean, shooting
4-up saves.
I don't want to be shooting sharks, but sharks are what I have to shoot.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, but I mean, they're not expensive, and they're just going to sit there and pound you all game because...
Well, we'll see. They're not too hard to take down from range, but
you got to get to them.
Well, turn 1, I didn't want to overextend.
Yep.
So I didn't.
So that's the thing. But I did score my 1 from holding an objective, and I got my battle tactic.
So actually, one of the first times you've been able to score match points with Nurgle.
Nurgle doesn't score well in turn 1, generally. At least not
depending on the mission.
Yeah. So roll off.
Yep, that's a 4.
That's a 2.
Okay, I have choice. I'm really not too sure. It could go badly if I give away the turn, but it lets me control where the objective comes down and set up for the turn 2 to 3 double, which is game winning potentially for Deepkin.
Yep.
So we're gonna go for that play, hope I can weather it. If you throw everything in though, again, there's a big risk of getting hit back. And so we'll jump into Nurgle, turn 2.
All right.
As the geomantic pulse is felt on the western flank, the Nurgle battle tactic is glory to the Grandfather. The Rotbringer sorcerer fails heroic leadership, while the Achillean king succeeds. Sloppity fails to cast Gift of Disease, but the Rotbringer sorcerer casts the Horrorghast. Rotigus has the Deluge of Nurgle unbound, but casts Mystic Shield again. One of the beasts of Nurgle uses at the double. The Reavers redeploy, moving 5 inches. The Maggotkin spend 10 corruption points to summon another beast of Nurgle. The Rotmire Creed deal 2 damage to the Alapexes, but also spread 4 disease to nearby units. Morbidex's Slabrous Tongues deal another 2 damage to the Alapexes. The Plague Claw catapults launch their payload again, but only deal 1 damage to the Alapexes. Morbidex uses Forward to Victory, but fails his charge, as does every other Nurgle unit. Oh shit, that's rough. Nurgle's disease points deal 12 mortals to the Deepkin, and 1 Alapex flees to Battleshock. Joyously spreading their corruption, the Maggotkin complete their battle tactic and score 6 points.
All right, so it was an interesting turn. Some things went really well, some things went really not well. It started out, I failed Gift of Disease, and then but I did succeed on the Horrorghast, which is fantastic.
And I rolled really low, so it wasn't worth like throwing primal dice into it.
You needed a 6, I think.
Yeah.
So you didn't. So you let me get it off. It went in. It Nova disease points around because it came out of the Rotbringer sorcerer. So that started out nicely. And then I failed Delusion Nurgle. Actually, I didn't fail. You unbound it with a nice roll, which didn't surprise me because you had the extra die. And then he missed shielded himself. So that was, it could have been better, but I got the Horrorghast out, and the Horrorghast is the magic. So that was good. Moved the whole army up to threaten a massive charge. I shot with the Rotmire Creed.
And they were all stars.
They were all stars. I got 4 6s. And how a Rotmire Creed work is everything near the thing you targeted also gets the disease points. So it was just disease points galore because you were pretty castled. So that was good. Got a couple extra shooting shots in from
Morbidex.
Surprisingly, and he actually rolled 2 6s, so got some more disease points. So that was pretty good. Catapults, again, did very little. The first one missed. The second one got through, and then I rolled a 1 for the d6 damage. But notably, because it targeted the sharks...
-2 bravery was huge.
-2 bravery. Yeah. So that's where the going well for the turn kind of ended. I summoned a 3rd Beast of Nurgle onto the objective here to take it, because this is... You made this one the pulse. And then we went to the charge phase, and I failed every single charge, including the reroll on the 7-inch charge.
Yeah.
So that was scary. I think that put me... I think I could have done a lot more damage. I mean, it definitely would have if I'd made the charge. But that said, it's still not the end of the world. And then we went into the Battle Shock phase. I diseased off a ton of stuff.
That's where it turned around, where it didn't look great. But
I diseased off a ton of stuff because I was at +1 to disease rolls this turn, so it's really important.
A total of 8 thralls killed to disease.
Yep.
And then a shark running away. Killed to disease and battle shock.
Yeah.
Sorry, maybe more than that actually.
Yeah, so it was pretty deadly.
11 thralls.
I'm not in a terrible place. I'm still kind of afraid of your double if you get a double here, but I control effectively every objective. No one controls this one, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I scored max points because I have this one, I have the one beside it. I got my battle tactic killing more units, fortunately, which happened in the battle shock phase.
Yeah, the shark doesn't run and you don't get it, right?
Yeah, so it was very close.
But Hordas, again...
One interesting thing is I managed to get 5 disease points in your hero. I rolled all 5 mortal wounds and he made 4 of his 5 saves. Otherwise, that hero probably died if you didn't spike that. So that was interesting. It was a very interesting turn. We'll see what you do coming into it, because I know I took a lot of your resources away, but you hit hard, and we're going into the magic turns for Deepkin where they start striking first across the board. Not quite yet, but
not yet, but heading into round 2. So gonna try and deal some damage here, and we'll jump into it, going into Deepkin turn 2.
Hoping to capitalize on their foe's misfortune, the Idoneth battle tactic is led into the maelstrom. The Achillean king uses heroic leadership, while Rotigus uses their finest hour. The Achillean king dispels Horrorghast, and the Tidecaster casts Hoarfrost on the thralls. Enjoying the battle? Check out our YouTube membership to support the channel and get an extra battle report every week. The Namarti Reavers shoot at and deal 5 damage to Morbidex. The other unit of Reavers shoot and finish off a Beast of Nurgle. The Alopexes shoot at Morbidex, but deal no damage. The Leviathan uses all-out attack and shoots at the Rotmire Creed, dealing 7 damage. The Leviathan uses Crushing Assault, while Rotigus's Mountain of Loathsome Flesh deals 4 mortals to the Achillean king, and Morbidex stomps the thralls. The Achillean king uses Lord of Tides on himself, the Leviathan, and the thralls. The thralls fight first, but deal just 2 damage to Morbidex. Attacking Rotigus, the Leviathan deals 5 damage, but suffers 2 mortal wounds in return. I think he's meant to reflect disease, not mortals. The Achillean king deals 13 damage to Rotigus, but dies from the mortal wound splash. Again, I think you're doing that wrong. The Alopexes are next to fight and take out a Beast of Nurgle. Finally given the chance, Rotigus attacks and deals 6 damage to the Leviathan. Morbidex then fights the thralls and finishes them off, and Nurgle's disease points deal a total of 5 mortals to the Idoneth units. As teeth and tridents tear into corrupted flesh, the Deepkin complete their battle tactic and score 6 points.
Well, Deepkin turn 2 was not everything I wanted, but I mean, the big thing is I went for the kill on Rotigus and left him with 2 wounds left, so very close. Made a couple big saves. Now you're +3 to your save this turn, but I'm rend 3 on the turtle, rend 3 on the king, so I expected to get him down still. Again, 2 wounds, it was very close and very much in
absolutely.
the realm of possibility. The king died. Now I was expecting actually to lose him throughout the course of the game. Probably I was like, okay, he'll probably take a couple wounds and then die to disease, but he actually died on the splashback of his attacks because Rodness.
I spiked a few 6s.
Yeah, when you make your ward saves, you reflect
I also
mortals.
did 4 to him with my
Your monstrous action.
actions.
Yeah, which again I knew was possible. Nurgle can be a tough one for Deepkin, as we're seeing like the mortals.
It just
like,
eats at you.
Yeah, it really hurts Deepkin. They're not super high wound count. So that said, I had a pretty solid turn overall. Killed 2 beasts over here. Got rid of your Outmire Creed. Had done a bunch of damage to Morbidex, but he healed.
So irrelevant.
Yeah. There wasn't much I could do with the Thralls. In hindsight, could have maybe 1 or 2 in there to attack, and that could have finished off the Great Unclean One or Rodidus. So I could have done that, but I thought, hey, they actually could put another 6-8 damage on Morbidex with,
He's another
so
swingy
it was-
one where it's like you
yeah.
finish him or he just comes back.
And so it is what it is. In hindsight, it didn't pan out kind of how I went about this, but tried to leverage everything, wanted a crippling blow, didn't quite get it. So we are going into priority, which is going to be very volatile, and we'll just, it's a 3, Ryan rolls a classic 1.
I'm at about 8 in a row loss right now.
So obviously gotta take it here. Going into high tide, this is why I gave away the turn 2.
Yep.
So we're gonna jump into Deepkin turn 3.
Maintaining the momentum of their assault, the Idoneth battle tactic is Assassins of the High Tide. The Tidecaster uses heroic leadership, while the Sloppity Bilepiper fails. The Tidecaster fails to cast Hoarfrost again. You know that's your only job, right? The Leviathan shoots at and finishes off Rotigus, and down goes the big boy. The Reavers shoot and deal 6 damage to the Beast of Chaos. The second unit of Reavers deals 2 damage to Morbidex. The Alapexes shoot at Morbidex, but again deal no damage. The Alapexes use Forward to Victory and make their charge. The Leviathan uses Crushing Assault, while Morbidex stomps the Alapexes. The Alapexes are first to fight, but deal just 2 damage to Morbidex. The Leviathan piles in and finishes off Morbidex. You might say the tides are turning. The Beast of Nurgle deals 2 damage to the Leviathan, then Nurgle's disease points deal 4 mortals to it, and 1 to the Reavers. Eliminating their foe's leadership, the Deepkin complete their battle tactic and score 7 points.
All right, pretty quick turn here for Deepkin. We're obviously losing resources on both sides. The turtle did a ton of work for me this round of finishing off Rodidus in the shooting phase, then charging, piling in, and finishing off Morbidex because the
Notably,
sharks.
you killed him by exact wounds.
Yes.
Had I made 1 more Disgustingly Resilient, he would have been pretty much full health right now.
Which is notable because you decided not to do Finest Hour on him.
Yep, because I didn't think you were going to... I mean, you made 2 long charges, you did pretty good with shooting. I didn't think it would all get over there, so...
Yeah.
I don't think it was necessarily the wrong choice. I think there was a chance that, so maybe I should have done it, but I was low on CP, so I was like, I'm going to try and get some more CP.
Yeah. But
it didn't pay off.
Yeah. Here, though the turtle is limping now, took a bunch of more mortals back and damage from the beast. Notably, we realized Rodidus' ability, the reflecting mortals doesn't reflect mortal wounds, it reflects
Disease
contagion
points.
or disease.
Yep.
Which I was still on a 3-up taking mortals. We whatever kind of just
we just adjusted
made
the
a
wounds
wash
a little
of
bit
it.
to offset it. Won't affect much, but it was a boo-boo by me.
Yeah, slight thing.
Don't play
but again,
Rodidus very much.
wouldn't really could have easily not made any difference.
Yep.
And you still would have had a beast to attack my king and all that, so very likely doesn't do anything.
Yep.
But here, then turtles or sharks did nothing, so I was hoping to also kill that beast.
Sharks didn't do nothing.
Well, they did too, but I was hoping they would kill.
Oh yeah,
kill
their
him.
sniping wasn't so hot.
in the shooting. But these guys, again, dealt 6 damage, so that beast is alive. Would have loved to finish that off as well. I think if you're 2 less beasts here, it's a totally different game.
Yep.
But you still have a little fight left, and I'm a glass cannon army, so could easily take out a bunch of pieces.
Double you here.
Yeah, very much could swing back the other way, so we're just going to jump into Maggotkin turn 3.
On their back foot, after some crippling losses, the Nurgle battle tactic is nurture the Gnarlmaw. The Sloppity Bilepiper and Tidecaster both use heroic leadership. Sloppity fails to cast Gift of Disease, and the Rotbringer Sorcerer has Horrorghast Unbound. The Rotbringer Sorcerer uses At the Double. The Maggotkin spend 10 contagion points to summon a Beast of Nurgle. The first Plague Claw shoots and deals 9 damage to the Reavers. The second Plague Claw uses all-out attack but still manages to miss. Okay, well, at least one figured it out. The Beast deals 2 mortals on impact and finishes off the Leviathan. Then the Reavers unleash hell but deal no damage. The last Reaver deals 1 damage, then the Beast of Nurgle finishes them off. The Tidecaster and Sloppity both fail to deal any damage. Showing they're not out of the fight, the Maggotkin complete their battle tactic and score 7 points.
All right, so I had quite the turn.
Table looks a little different.
Little different. So my magic phase was non-existent. I whiffed Gift of Disease again. I don't really need it anymore, but it's just like, come on, dude, roll a 7 at some point. My other spell was Unbound. I tried to put the Horrorghast down again. It wasn't going to be super relevant, but I just didn't have anything else to cast that was relevant. So it was either that or an Arcane Bolt, and I felt the Horrorghast could do more work. But you Unbound it, so it didn't matter. I moved up, set up for a charge into the Leviathan, set up a charge into the Reavers, summoned another Beast of Nurgle. This was the wheel turn, so I got 8, so it got me to 10 to perfectly summon one. So that was that. Shot with the catapults. This catapult managed to get just far enough this way to be closer to the Reavers, and it popped off. Got through them, 9 damage, picked up almost the whole unit in one shot. That was really nice, because I was doing Nurture the Gnarlmaw, because a couple were within range of this tree.
Yes, yeah, and that was good play. And I didn't need to be that far forward, both for the battle tactic as well as close to that. I could have been just outside of 9.
But you weren't
or
thinking about
just
it,
within 9, but yeah. It was
so it worked out for me.
Mistake.
Made a long charge with my hero here into the other hero. I knew it was be a wet noodle battle, but I have the advantage because I'm a little tankier and I'm a bench kill you with disease points. The main reason I made that charge is to get closer to your boat, because his grand strategy is protect the boat, so it just puts me in a position for later in the game to deny that. Beast of Nurgle charged into the Leviathan, finished it off barely.
Yeah.
But it's dead. I chose not to charge in the Nurglings because he had strike first, and I think you just pick up half the Nurglings and then I give up the objective. So standing here, I score full, going into a roll.
So we are tied, and it's been a close game, but that's a 2.
3. I finally
Ryan,
won.
you said you were due, so
I mean, I still haven't rolled over a 4, but
that's fair. You didn't give away the turn here, though?
No, not at all.
Okay.
So it's going to be, I'm going to take it and hopefully seal this to win.
All right, Maggotkin of Nurgle, turn 4.
Placing their faith in the Grandfather, the Nurgle battle tactic is led into the Maelstrom. The Rotbringer Sorcerer uses heroic leadership, and the Tidecaster uses their finest hour. The Rotbringer casts Mystic Shield, while Sloppity has Gift of Disease Unbound. I don't think he's got that spell off once. The first Plague Claw deals no damage, while the other one deals 6 damage to the Alapexes. The first Beast of Nurgle uses Forward to Victory to make his charge and deals 3 mortal wounds on impact, and the next beast deals 2. The Nurglings use all-out attack and deal 2 damage to the Alapexes. The Reavers deal no damage, nor does the beast, while the other beast finishes off the Tidecaster. Ending the fighting, the last Alapex deals 4 damage to the Nurglings, but flees to battle shock. While firmly dominating the battlefield, the Maggotkin fail their battle tactic and score just 3 points.
All right, so my 4th turn is up here. It was interesting. It didn't go as planned, but I think it's fine. I think with you having 3 thralls left, it probably means
Reavers.
Reavers.
Brian, get it right.
Reavers left. What happened was I went for the battle tactic to charge with a unit and a hero. I was banking on killing your hero that tied up this one for a close charge. But you made some nice ward saves, and he lived.
Yep. Well, you only did. Oh yeah, it was because he left with 1. Yeah.
Yep. I hit him with this and did 6 damage, and then you made like 3 more saves or something like that. I can't remember the specific numbers. And then on the charge, I with the Beast of Nurgle to try and finish him, I did all but 1. He had 1 left, so I had a bazillion mile charge with this guy to try and get it. He failed it, so battle tactic was out. But at that point, I mean, I finished off your hero in combat. Shark, the one shark died to the catapult. The other shark ran away because catapult really is not good.
The -2 bravery and then battle shock is rough.
So the Nurglings did all of nothing. And yeah, that's pretty much all she wrote. I think.
Puts me in a spot where I only have the 3 Reavers left, and obviously it's not enough to mount anything. Ryan, you will score not matched because neither of us have controlled this objective.
Oh yeah.
All game, and the pulse is here, but you'll see the store updated, and then Ryan, you're to store probably max next couple turns because you could auto run them over to tag this one in turn 5.
Yes, and it would just require I cast a spell.
Yep.
And you have no way to unbind it, so it would be I'd arcane bolt.
Yes, exactly, and
on
then,
a master magic guy, so I think we're pretty.
Yeah, so you'll get your points turn 5. Grand strategy, you'll be able to deny mine by just getting close to the boat, and then you'll store yours of putting a wizard within 6 or
6 in the middle and you not be there.
Yeah.
There's really not much you can do to this.
Yeah, exactly. Turn 5, even if my Reavers retreat out and block it up. Yeah, exactly. The beasts will take them out. So, yeah, rough. Well, not rough.
It was really back and forth.
It was a very good back and forth game. I think one of the weaknesses of Deepkin is obviously mortal wounds. They're glass army. They can have good saves in a build like this at times with the turtle, but the mortal wounds we saw is just so crippling.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I whiffed a lot of stuff where it could have been much worse. So I think, no gifted diseases the whole game.
Yeah. I really felt not having my Soul Render here. I know I'm often playing with a Soul Render, even in a build like this, or playing in the Soul Render sub-faction where I'm bringing back 3 plus D3 Namarti.
Oh, that would have been a huge
difference. That single guy could have easily been at the end of your turn 5 and then 8 or 9 again on my turn, right?
Yeah, exactly. Big swing there.
So Soul Render, not having him in a Namarti build definitely hurt.
Yep. And I mean, the bravery stuff, it works. I mean, this army is not going to work against everything.
Yeah.
It leans very heavily into debuffing your bravery, and
elves it works against.
Elves it works. Well, it works unless you bring that big aura of immune to battle shock. That
I had with my last take.
Yeah, which point it doesn't work at all. So, and not to say this army is like 100% in on this, but a lot of its power is tied to let's drop a Horgas right in your lines, kill a guy in every single one of your unit, and watch half your units run off.
Yeah. It just so happens that I was playing a list that was like MSU.
Yeah.
And really susceptible to it.
It was, but it could have been much worse if I could actually shoot your infantry.
Yeah, yes, that's true.
Those sharks tanked almost every shot from these the whole game, and it could have been much worse.
We saw the one time you got to shoot at the Reavers.
Yeah, they just disappeared.
Yeah, obliterated them.
I'm overall quite happy with them. They were very swingy. I rolled several 1s. They missed, 2 up, missed. But when they connected, it worked, and their bravery debuff got me 2 sharks.
Yeah.
So
seriously, yeah.
And what's a shark worth?
150.
So that right there paid for them.
Yeah,
So-
for sure.
So overall,
Not to mention the damage they did to everything else.
yeah. So overall, I would say they succeeded. That
did the
said,
job you brought them for.
They're only 6 wounds with like a 5-up save, so against other matches they might just disappear.
And that's where, again, things being a little bit different maybe, I could have at some point targeted them, but the long range kind of kept them safe, right? Like,
Which is
again, you backboard them. I could have gone to them turn 1 and shot them, but then
You
you're
would've
getting
been-
into my sharks
yeah,
right
with
away,
like
right?
3 beasts. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that was worth it.
Oh, I wholeheartedly agree, which is why I didn't do it.
But yeah.
But at some point, was no longer tanking it with the sharks and making saves and all that.
So what we've learned here today: A tier.
Play
Nurgle
cloud
gunline.
catapults.
Yeah, with the shooters and Morbidex, who he died to exact wounds. Had he lived with 1 wound, he would have healed back to full pretty much
Yeah, so
over the course of a couple turns. So he could have just been fantastic. In reality, because of that, he was just okay. But I mean, I still won, so I can't complain. But
Yeah.
I think there are games where he's just going to take over the game because someone can't kill him fast enough, and he'll
Yeah.
just keep healing up. Rodigus, I'm not
his
convinced.
spell's good, but
His spell's good, but I got it off once all game, and in all other ways, he's just a bad Great Unclean One.
yeah.
So I think maybe in future versions of this list, Great Unclean One gets deleted completely, and I spend an extra 500 points, maybe another catapult, more just crap. Maybe it's better.
But
But
interesting.
if that gets off a few times, it can do work.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
the
it's very
the mortal wounds and yeah, it's a good spell.
Yep.
But whether you're getting enough utility out of him otherwise is the question.
Yeah, for like 440 points, I think he is now. He tanked your 2 biggest things, but a normal Great Unclean One would have done that better because he would have been -1 to hit.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, good showing here still for the Deepkin. Like, again, Nurgle isn't their ideal target, right? Because a lot of the times they're taking damage back, or they're not fully able to clear stuff. Because Deepkin want to hit something, be free, and then charge the next thing, right? Not get hit back. Obviously, losing the cane was a big blow, but yeah, that's just part of.
yeah,
having
he's
the
not
cane,
tanky.
right?
He wants to slice something up and not get hit back.
Exactly, and again, you can't do that with every
Yeah.
Nurgle's
I don't need to
non-armored
hurt
thing.
back. I just hurt you from you being near me.
Yeah, so the disease points hurt, but yeah, points wise though, felt like some good changes. I feel like I was able to kind of build a cohesive force that like I actually got to fit everything into, and felt like I had a good build. So yeah, it was interesting. I'm super happy with the points changes. All this stuff becomes a little more viable, which is all you can really ask for. So
Yep.
yeah, that about wraps it up though, Ryan. Again, like you said, good win here for the Maggotkin. Sad day for the elves, but we'll come back and get our revenge at some point. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, if you want to support the channel, you can check out our membership on YouTube for extra content, and again, to go a long way to help support the channel. We super appreciate it, and we'll see you soon in another battle report.
Nice.